the news from CloudWorld. This week was packed with customers sharing their stories, exciting new partnerships, cutting-edge product innovations, and much, much more. We kicked off with a focus on healthcare at Oracle Health Conference, where we heard about new solutions and capabilities that will help healthcare organizations and providers focus on what matters most: patients. We got to sit down with Mike Cecilia at the Oracle TV News Desk, and he told us about some of the exciting new AI features coming to Oracle Healthcare.
If you think about in every industry, where does the generative AI feature set most resonate with end users? Where does it belong? It's in the industry application, right? I'll give you an example in healthcare. Where do we think generative AI can have a tremendous impact on our healthcare customers and specifically on their providers and the patients they care for? By automating routine tasks. Sometimes the paperwork, for example, to discharge a patient can take hours, and it's a huge tax and burden on the nursing staff. Now, by all indications, we may be short 1 million nurses in the United States by the year 2030, right? This is what some of industry analysts and pundits predict. These are numbers that are out there that you can see. We're not going to solve that gap, but if we can take a 2-hour discharge process and literally get that down to 2 minutes by using generative AI to automate that discharge process, I think these are the type of things that have tremendous utility. But you've got to be able to do that as a service. And if you're just getting infrastructure from a provider, or you're just getting a back office application, not that there aren't AI plays in those things, it's going to be up to the customer to figure out, how do I get that AI feature set, and how do I use the toolkit they're providing into the industry applications. What we're saying is we'll deliver it all as a feature set. No need for you to stitch it all together, and I think that's the big differentiator.
Great. Now, you may have sort of already answered this, but again, Safra's keynote was all about customer success. What is unique in how we approach this with our industry customers?
Yeah. I think the unique piece is what we call the end-to-end automation, or the end-to-end understanding, meaning that we're willing to take on the entirety of an industry's problem, not just a piece of it, and we're not going to leave any of the knitting and stitching to the customers. We're willing to take it all on. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the customer has to procure all of it all at once.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean to say, well, wow, you've got a solution here, really wide, really deep, horizontal and vertical. I got to have it all tomorrow and I'll just turn it on. But I think the fact that we come in there with an understanding of it, and we come in there with a blueprint to help them on that journey, gives us and our customers, more importantly, our customers, a unique advantage so that they understand what the journey is going to look like.
Safra Catz highlighted our commitment to customer success in her keynote and was joined by leaders from Aon, Emerson, First Solar, Loblaw, Tim Brazil, and Uber to discuss how their organizations are embracing change.
Buck, Uber and Oracle worked together to co-innovate on this retail offering. Why was this a priority for Uber?
Sure. So Uber's been trying to figure out how to expand beyond the traditional food delivery business, and we've been looking at a number of categories. Retail was on the short list of those.
Sure.
Building on the bridge of the partnership with OCI, we were able to explore a kind of a shared problem I think both companies saw in the marketplace, really around unlocking value for the retailers and very specifically around the consumer experience that is delivery.
And part of Uber's mission is to help people go anywhere and get anything. I think it's sort of obvious, right, how this offering advances that mission?
Exactly. So it's an expansion beyond, again, the traditional food delivery business into a massive category where there still continues to be a bit of friction there at the endpoint for the consumer.
Now, not just because Pat is sitting here, but why was Oracle the right partner for this initiative?
That's a great question. So,
I mean, you could talk about him too.
Pat and the Oracle team have been fantastic to work with. I think when we first got introduced, what we found was a shared vision and a shared pain point among common customers. And then when we started looking at the assets between what Uber brings to the table and what Oracle already offers to retailers, we realized that there was a complementary capacity or capability between the two companies. And we had to solve for the adoption of technology of Uber Direct for these retailers, which Oracle is well suited to enable.
Pat, how do you think this will be unique among other fast service delivery options, or like an Amazon Prime, for example?
There's a lot of differences. So first of all, when we say same day delivery, We're actually using unique features, and Dara touched upon it in the keynote. This is scheduled. So it might be same day, it might also be tomorrow, but it's the day of your choosing at the location and the time you want it. So if you're getting ready to go on set here and you need a new pair of shoes, this collect and receipt process will take and deliver that immediately. And you can order 2 of them, and if one's the wrong size, they'll take it back and do the return for you. So premium delivery, specifying the time and date, much higher service standard than what you would see out of Amazon or almost anyone for that matter, okay?
Then Larry Ellison took the main stage to share our vision for the future of Oracle and AI. We also heard from Steve Miranda, Clay McGurrick, and Juan Loaiza on the latest AI innovations that are embedded across our entire technology stack. In this clip from Oracle TV, Steve shared details on new generative AI capabilities in our Fusion application suite.
What's on everybody's mind nowadays is AI, and specifically generative AI. So I'll be announcing over 60 new use cases that'll come out over the next 2 to 3 quarters out of our standard release that are available to all of our customers. So 100% will get them. And there are things like, using generative AI to respond to support tickets, using generative AI to generate proposals. That's in the CX area for sales and marketing. In HCM, using generative AI to generate employee surveys to your employees. Using it to create job posts. So you don't have to write, you need 2 years of qualification and a university degree. AI will generate that for you. In financials, we have it where it's something we call narrative reporting. So you can take a financial statement or an income statement, and the AI will summarize it for you. It will show you, well, this is a big difference from last year. Here's a summary of what the financial report means. All of which, where we never share our data, so that we never use our customers' data to train AI. We never pass PII to the AI, and we always have it humanly reviewable. So a whole big announcement on AI, and what I'm most excited about is actually not even the use cases, but once we give it to our customers, those 14,000 customers we have on Fusion, they're just going to give us tons of new ideas, and we're going to work as a community to get it together. Next one, Fusion Data Information Platform. So a whole new offering around what used to be a Fusion application warehouse. We've taken that, we've added, again, machine learning and AI to have it be much more predictive, much more action-oriented, taking those actions and send them to the transaction app, and then also making it so you can supplement it with third-party data. So if you use Fusion, it's great. If you use Fusion plus other things, a brand new set of AI and financial reporting capabilities there. That's the second one. And then the third one, which is we were also really thrilled. Last year we said we introduced B2B, and we had 2 partners, JP Morgan and FedEx, and we said there's going to be more. So this year we've extended to have MasterCard and HSBC. And it's, again, taking those end-to-end transactions, in particularly things like virtual card, and taking, you and I as consumers, we spend on our credit card. We don't write checks for anything, you spend a credit card, and there's lots of benefits to us. There's lots of benefits to the suppliers for that. But in a business, people don't really do that. And one of the biggest issues is, it's so hard for a business to apply for these cards, because they're very specific cards. They're not general, they're almost like a PO or like a P card.
Sure.
So what we've taken as our ERP integrated with MasterCard and HSBC makes it easy and frictionless to get a virtual card, and then you get all the benefits of using a credit card, suppliers get all the benefits, and it's seamless to you, a complete B2B transaction. So just filling out those B2B partnerships.
Clay detailed our new OCI generative AI service that we are delivering with Cohere, and how we are providing customers with more choices for AI infrastructure and next generation processors from NVIDIA and Ampere Computing.
So to solve that problem, we started with the best models from our partner Cohere. We then worked together to deliver an enterprise class, customized, fully controlled service, which is our new generative AI service. As of today, we're announcing that's in early access, and it will be in production very soon. The key that we're focusing on with this service is ensuring that customers retain complete control of their data and understand exactly how it's being used. That service will be available everywhere in our distributed cloud model.
And Juan explained how we use AI in our database, including our plans to add AI vectors to Oracle Database 23C.
Future of data in app dev. So what is it? What's the future of data in app dev? Well, it's all about enabling radical increases in productivity. And I'm going to get into a lot of detail on this. So how's this going to happen? Really, it's going to be about generating data solutions instead of hand coding them. So that's the big picture, the very, very big picture. So we're going to generate to innovate. And we're going to use 3 transformational strategies. One is to generate use-centric data. And I'm going to go into a good bit of detail on this. The second is we're going to generate apps altogether. And the third is that we're going to get a lot of productivity from generative AI. So I'm going to talk about each of these in turn. So first of all, today, all the parties in the world of data need to tell their data systems not just what they want, but also how to do it. And soon they'll simply declare their intended outcome, and the data systems will generate them. Now, what we're doing is we're introducing something new called JSON relational duality. And I'm going to describe how we can extend the data intent language to include JSON documents, I'd like you to welcome Gerald Wenzel, who's our lead product manager for developer initiatives, who's going to describe this. Hey, Gerald.
Thanks,
welcome.
Juan. Thank you. All right. So as Juan said, JSON relational duality views, which are new in Oracle Database 23c, enable Oracle databases to generate JSON format and APIs from relational tables. So that you get what you see there. It's like you have a bunch of relational tables and you would like to get JSON out of the database. How do we do that? Well, the structure of the duality view mirrors the structure of the JSON document that you want, which makes it super easy to define these by using familiar GraphQL syntax.
On the conference floor, we had an amazing space dedicated to customer success. Doug Caring stopped by the Oracle TV studio to share some of the ways we're helping customers achieve success.
You have talked about sharing our own secrets about how we're successful. What do you mean by that?
Well, we call it the Oracle Playbook, which is, we like to think of it as using our own technologies, drinking our own champagne, use your favorite analogy on that front. But Larry's always been a huge advocate for, hey, before we let our customers use our technologies, let's make sure it works on us. And so we actually have adopted, for instance, the Oracle Cloud, end-to-end, top-to-bottom, applications and infrastructure, and we use it to run our company. So what we try to do is not only take that experience and show customers how they can do it as well, but actually incorporate the best practices and the lessons learned, not just at a technical layer, but at a business process layer. So our accounting team and our legal team and our HR team, anyone who touches how we run our business actually get very involved and are advocates for our cloud technologies and go out and meet with customers. So we sort of wrapped it all up into what we call the Oracle Playbook and said, here customer, here's how you do 3 things. Help you with your process change, help you with the culture change that goes with it, and finally help you with the automation you need in order to power it.
And my understanding too is that a lot of customers come to us and ask us how we do some of what we do, whether it's closing the books faster or automating end-to-end processes. I understand you get a lot of those customer questions coming your way.
Yeah, we do, and we love it. We actually want to encourage them. Ask us, we'll show you the way. Again, I think everyone can run their company more efficiently in terms of revenue growth, as well as more profitably in terms of margin growth at the same time. In fact, funnily enough, Mark Benioff has been a big advocate for what Oracle's been doing, and Larry Ellison himself was helping Mark through, hey, how do I drive profitable growth? And so we kind of think of it as, it doesn't matter what company you are. You could be our biggest competitor, and we'll still help you because ultimately they're also Oracle customers too.
Sure. Right, exactly. What are some specific examples of benefits Oracle has been able to really achieve with Oracle Playbooks?
With Oracle?
With the Oracle Playbooks.
Sorry, the Oracle Playbooks. Yeah. So a good example is, on the finance side.
Right.
Because I think most accounting groups would really like to announce their earnings as quickly as possible. And why is that? Because every day that goes by, your numbers are more stale, they're sort of out of date, but you're also expending a lot of energy, resources, time, external fees, going through and reviewing the numbers and getting them out. Oracle reports their earnings faster than any other company in the S&P 500. What that means to us is not only, again, can we inform our investors faster than anyone else, but we can save a lot of time and money because we're not spending as much energy in weeks and weeks and weeks post the close of the quarter trying to get the books closed and announced. And so that's one example. And it goes through everything we do: HR, supply chain, customer experience applications, how we run our IT organization. So we've kind of taken the playbooks and broken them down into those various segments to show customers not only the results we've achieved, but how we got there.
We also had exciting partner announcements. With Microsoft, we expanded our partnership to deliver Oracle database services on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure in Microsoft Azure. And Oracle is working with MasterCard and HSBC to offer new payment and banking services directly from Oracle Fusion Cloud ERP. Lastly, some developer news. I am excited to share the availability of Java 21, the latest version of the world's #1 programming language and development platform is now available. All right, let's get to the news.
Yeah.
What are the most important feature and function improvements to Java 21?
Well, Java 21 is the latest of the 6-month release cadence that we've done. And so one thing that's nice about it is, in addition to the 15 JEPs, which is JDK enhancement proposals or features in 21, it also includes everything that has come along since the last of the long-term supported releases that we've done, which was Java 17. So you really have multiple years of goodness kind of all baked into one thing that's easy to pick up and use.
So many of the notable announcements seem to focus around Project Loom. Can you explain what Project Loom is?
Yeah, so this is sort of how we do the development now. Rather than a big project that all goes in at once, we have a project that we're doing on the side where we try to work on new functionality and deliver incrementally into successive 6-month releases. Project Loom is focused on scalability. So Java's always had a great reputation for being scalable, but with Project Loom, what we've done is introduce something called virtual threads. And this basically means that rather than one Java thread to one native platform thread, you can have tens or hundreds, even thousands, tens of thousands of virtual threads for each platform thread. And that means you can continue to write really simple, easy to understand synchronous Java code and actually have that scale tremendously better than you could before this.
Thank you.
Now we always hear that Java is a great platform for building secure applications.
Right.
Why is that so? And more importantly, because it's all about the customer, why is that so important for our customer?
Well, security obviously is something that's very important, and even more important as we're going along. The more accessible our applications are, the more kind of data that we're keeping track of, the more important it is that it remains secure. And so Java helps you a lot there by implementing a lot of the things and providing support for cryptography, secure communications, things like that. But also because when in these long-term supported releases, we have a constant stream of fixes that are coming along basically every quarter, and a year in advance when it's going to be. We have new fixes coming along that help keep you up to date with the changing security landscape.
And we continued MySQL Heatwave innovation with Vector Store and a new generative AI capability. Edward Screven showed us some impressive performance numbers for MySQL Heatwave for our customers.
We measure both performance and price performance using benchmarks.
Okay.
So for example, on a 10 terabyte TCP/H benchmark, we're actually 3 times faster than Snowflake and 4 times faster than Redshift. If you look at the price performance, so we combine the price and the performance together, we're 23 times better price performance than Redshift, 27 times better price performance than Snowflake. So really astounding numbers.
Wow.
Incredible. So shifting gears for a second, we recently announced the GA for MySQL Heatwave Lakehouse. What drove the need for this product?
Yeah, so what Lakehouse is it allows MySQL Heatwave users to directly query data that's stored in files in Object Store. So instead of having to load the data into the database, ingest the data and store it in database files like you do in most databases, you can directly query data just as files. And the reason for that is very simple. A lot of customer data is just stored in files. A lot of processes inside customer infrastructure generates files, whether it's like click streams from web servers or data streams from IoT devices. Customers get a lot of data generated. They store it in files, and if they have to query it by ingesting it into a database, well, that ingestion takes a lot of time. With MySQL Heatwave, you can directly query it.
Got it. Okay, now switching back on MySQL Heatwave, we talk at CloudWorld, at Oracle, about helping our customers solve their biggest challenges, overcoming obstacles. How does MySQL Heatwave help them do that? Can you give us some examples of what customers are using it for today?
Yeah, we're widely used in things like gaming and financial services and all kinds of things. Two particular customer examples that I particularly like are one. There's a company in Latin America called Astuda.com, and what they do is they deliver an online learning experience to students. Right mm-hmm. Now, they previously used RDS from Amazon, coupled with Google BigQuery. The problem is it was expensive, and they had to go through an ETL process to move it from Amazon to Google. Now they switched to MySQL Heatwave, right? And their queries, their analytic queries, run 300 times faster on MySQL Heatwave than they did on Google BigQuery, and they spend 85% less money.
Well, that's a wrap. It was an inspirational week here in Las Vegas, and if you missed any of the action, tune in on CloudWorld On Air to catch up.